Thank you all for being here today. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your patience. It's great to be back in Saginaw for another Road to Restoration Clinic, and as always, I'm so grateful to our state and local partners for their support and for hosting us here today. Thank you, SVRC Marketplace. I really love being here. The United Way of Saginaw County, Detroit Justice Center, 211 Michigan, and the Michigan Attorney General's Office for your commitment and dedication to serving the people of this community and across the state. The Road to Restoration program is now in its 4th year. And this is our 4th free driver's license restoration clinic serving the residents of Saginaw and the surrounding area. We created the Road to Restoration program to solve a problem. In 2021, Michigan passed new laws lifting driver's license suspensions for people who failed to pay tickets, pay court fines, or who were cited for failing to appear in court for various violations. At that time, we canceled infractions on the driving records of more than 350,000 Michiganders. That was great news. It was cause for celebration. But many people affected by the new law still had to take additional actions to restore their driving privileges. Just changing the law wasn't necessarily going to help Michiganders return to the road. Outstanding fines, fees, still presented real barriers. And I firmly believe that government's job is to get through those barriers and work for the people. Government needs to support us when we need it and get out of the way when we don't. And it's our job at the Michigan Department of State to make sure every resident of this state has easy, fast, and convenient access to our services. And that goes for reinstating driving privileges as well. Supporting second chance laws and removing unnecessary barriers is important. But if people can't get back on the road because it's too confusing, expensive, or difficult to get their license back, then we're not doing our job. So that's why we created these clinics. People needed answers to specific questions. They needed help navigating the next steps in this process. And the best way to do that is to show up and provide that support, provide that information here on the ground. And that's what the Road to Restoration program does. Department of State employees and volunteer attorneys travel all across Michigan and work one-on-one with people in the community. They provide expert guidance to attendees, check their license status, answer questions about the process, and provide services like vision testing and the written driver's exam on site. They help people get their driver's license back, in some cases that same day. And so far, we have helped more than 10,000 Michiganders get on the path to reinstating their driver privileges. And over these last 4 years at clinics in Saginaw and Sault Ste. Marie, Pontiac to Petoskey, and everywhere in between, we've been hearing from people about another roadblock. There was a state law on the books that imposed a 3-year penalty for anyone caught driving without a license. We already have penalties for people who break the law, but this was an additional 3-year ban on applying for a legal driver's license. Not only was this an unnecessary barrier, but it trapped thousands of Michiganders in a lose-lose cycle that was hard to break. It had a disproportionate impact on young people and people with low incomes. Getting caught in that cycle meant missing out on job opportunities, depending on other people to get around, and taking a huge risk just to take a sick kid to the doctor. My team heard from one mother of 4 about how hard it was to make progress because of this harsh restriction. She had a job, but wanted to get a better one to support her family. And even after paying more than $10,000 in fees to the state, she found out she still needed to wait 3 more years before she could apply for her driver's license. That's why the Department of State supported legislation introduced by Representative Donovan McKinney and signed into law by Governor Whitmer to repeal the extra 3-year ban on getting a Michigan driver's license. That law took effect on April 2nd. And since then, more than 3,000 Michiganders have been able to apply for their driver's license now that that ban has been repealed. Anyone who is affected by that restriction can now schedule a visit at the state office or register for the upcoming Road to Restoration Clinic to apply for their driver's license. This is what it means to have a government that works for the people and that meets people where they are to make their lives better. Michigan is a driving state. Without a license, so many opportunities and even necessities are out of reach. Everyone must follow the law, but no one who made a mistake when they were young or who has already paid their debt to society should be punished forever. Helping people move forward with their lives is the right thing to do, and it's also in the best interest of Michigan families, communities, and businesses. Here to speak more about what this means to the people at our Saginaw Clinic today and throughout the community is United Way of Saginaw County President and CEO, Audra Davis. Audra.
Thank you. Good morning. Well, it's close to afternoon, I guess, right? Good afternoon. Welcome to the SVRC Marketplace and the Road to Restoration Clinic. I am Audra Davis, the President and CEO for United Way of Saginaw County, and this is our 4th Road to Restoration Clinic here in Saginaw County. And for the work of United Way, it's very meaningful and fruitful to be a part of this great work. We are proud to welcome the Michigan Department of State and the Road to Restoration team back to Saginaw. Here at United Way, we are very passionate about tackling key issues that build strong communities, providing a hand up to those in need. Specifically, our families we talk about in ALICE. ALICE is an acronym that stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, but Employed. This is our working class families, those that are literally one paycheck away from disaster, away from a complete fall. And so when we talk about ALICE and we're looking at the ways we can help lift that community, ALICE households struggle in things like transportation, juggling multiple jobs, caring for children, access to affordable child care, and accessing health care. Reliable transportation is not just a luxury, but it's a lifeline to financial stability. Pillars of a strong community include health, education, financial stability, and basic needs. The Road to Restoration clinics provide support to our communities that bridge the gaps in preventing our friends, neighbors, and our community members from meeting their own basic needs. To help folks in Saginaw across Michigan get their driver's privileges restored. We are giving people a chance to a better life. No one can do this alone. We believe and strive for a collective impact. From passing laws that remove these barriers to executing successful Road to Restoration events, we are hosting and volunteering many people collaborating and doing what it takes to come together successfully to put over 66 clinics through various locations in the state of Michigan and serving thousands of Michiganders. But when we do, we create significant impact, long, life-lasting changes. I look forward to continuing the work here in Saginaw, working together to build a stronger community and a stronger Michigan. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful to have you here and grateful for your partnership. None of this is possible without good partners on the ground. And thank you for the service you provide Michiganders and residents of this county every day. I'm so proud that we're all here together, helping Michiganders get back on the road, back to work, and back to living their lives. Now I'm happy to take any questions, and again, thank you all for being here. Yeah.
You mentioned that just since April 1st, 3,000 people
have become eligible. Yeah.
Do you expect that pace to continue for the next year?
Yeah, it's hard to know. I think the fact that it's now available and that was really just an unnecessary additional hurdle is now dismantled is what we're most proud about. And I'm sure there will continue to be thousands of Michiganders who are impacted in a positive way. Thank you all. All right, thanks guys. I'm going to go up. All right.
Different subject.
Okay.
Real ID.
Yes.
Deadline's coming up.
May 7th.
Have you seen a ramp up in the number of people trying to get this done by next week's deadline?
Yes, we have. I was visiting our branch offices yesterday in the Detroit area. They are busier than usual, and that's a good sign. And when I asked residents and staff what we were seeing, typically the majority of transactions in our branches are actually vehicle transactions, title transactions, but right now the majority are transitions to Real ID, which is a great thing. It shows that residents are stepping up. They're looking at their license. If it doesn't have a gold star on it, they're doing what is necessary to upgrade that ID so that they can fly or enter federal buildings after May 7th. And I also want to give a shout out to all of our employees in these offices who have been working overtime and really meeting the moment too to make sure that we're able to get everyone who wants a Real ID by the deadline to be able to get that easily.
And just one question on Real ID. How far short are we going to be of everyone getting Real ID by the
Well, I would actually say we're seeing the opposite. Michigan, as of a week ago, is at 75% of eligible residents having that Real ID already, before we even began this push. And that was well above the national average. So we were already in a strong position, and we're seeing now even more people sign up and get those IDs. So after May 7th, we'll have another assessment of the numbers, because, again, not everyone wants or needs license, and you can use your current license to drive. You only would need a Real ID to fly federal buildings. So some people may simply just choose to use their passport for that, and in that case, we wouldn't consider that a untransitioned or unupgraded ID, just a choice that someone's making. But we'll get updated numbers after we get to the other. You're right. On the 7th is when required to fly a domestic airline and enter facilities. Working with federal officials to ensure that hits that we have provision in place to still able to fly, and to find ways to make sure that we're working to get those Real IDs upgraded as quickly as possible. We will be at airports. We are working with clerks and others around the state to meet people where they are and deliver these services. But the bottom line is, if you get your ID and it doesn't have a gold star on it and it's not an enhanced license, you can go to a Secretary of State office and get that Real ID right away with your passport or birth certificate and any name change documents. And you can go to michigan.gov/Real ID to find out more information. You'll still be able to get a Real ID after May 7th, so don't panic if you don't have it before May 7th. We just encourage you to do that, especially if you're planning to travel or enter federal buildings soon after that deadline. Thanks, guys. Okay, I can't wait. Awesome, thanks.
Thank you so much.